3 psychological struggles that time will not fix during this breakup. Now, I always say to clients and on here that breakups are one of the most complicated forms of grief that the human brain can go through for so many different reasons. And all too often, clients have spent months and months and months trying to get over a person, trying to heal, trying to get to a point where they can live their days without thinking about this person or crying or feeling stuck. And they've inched forward, but they haven't really got to the point where they thought they would be by now. Or maybe where they have been when they've gone through previous breakups. And then that leads a person to really beating themselves up and saying, well, why the hell am I not? But 9 times out of 10, it's because they haven't had the correct map nor tools for the next 3 psychological struggles. And they've been banking on time as a healer, which is not true when it comes to the grief that is a breakup. So number 1. The logic versus emotion battle. Now, anyone that's going through or has been through a breakup will know exactly what I mean by this. Your logical brain is saying one thing, your emotional brain is saying a very different one. And that battle gets so heavy very, very quickly. Because what side do you believe? And ultimately, the emotional side just feels so much stronger, even if you know logically that isn't maybe the healthiest thing for you to do, think, feel, etc. And in a lot of ways, you're often stuck grieving multiple versions possibly of a person and the relationship. Now, all too often, the issue is that you're still wearing the rose-tinted glasses when you're thinking about your ex and the relationship, and you're still having them and holding them onto a pedestal, which tells me that your emotional brain is still sat in the driver's seat and the logical brain is sat in the passenger seat. Nobody can effectively grieve, get to a place of indifference, happiness, contentment, etc., whilst their emotional brain is in the driver's seat, because that brain doesn't need to use any facts. It generates thoughts and feelings to you that could be completely made up or rubbish. We have to make the switch where we put your logical brain back in the driving seat and we put your emotional brain back into the passenger seat. What this then allows you to do is grieve from the facts, not the rose-tinted version, not the pedestal version, not the version that hurts you, not the version that feels most comfortable, not the version you've created even, but the facts. The facts are sat in a box in your brain right now, and without processing them, you will not grieve. And without grieving, you will not heal. So we need to go through that box at some point. And all the time your emotional brain is in the driving seat, you are not going through that box. You're going through all these other boxes, but not the one that's most important. And time will not allow that switch to happen. We have to give you the right tools, the right map to slowly switch, certainly not too quickly because that would be intense for anyone, and actually then feel like, okay, I'm getting somewhere here. I'm starting to feel better about things. I'm starting to see I can have a future without this person. I'm starting to see that actually, as sad as this was, I'm going to get through this. Number 2 is overthinking. Overthinking does not just get up and leave. It is a safety mechanism that your brain is using to keep you attached to what was last familiar and therefore what it sees as safe, but also is a way of keeping you safe by literally combing through every single detail from the past and the future. But what it's not doing is allowing you to live in the present, which is where your healing actually happens. You can't change what's happened, and living in the future is only going to make you fearful right now because it's uncertain, and it would make anyone feel that way. Living in the present is the only thing you can actually control. And the issue with overthinking is it focuses on all the things you can't control and not what you can control. And that leads anyone to feeling stuck in their thoughts and feelings. Time doesn't heal this because actually overthinking is very, very, very addictive. So once you get into that rat race, it feels very difficult to logically zoom out and look at your own brain to get you out of that rat race. So what we really have to do with clients is switch their brain over to healthy, functioning processing methods. Your brain is just trying to process, and in theory it's doing a good job, but actually it's using an unhealthy tool. It's ultimately using a hammer on glass. It's going to keep smashing. So what we need to do is give you the tools so that actually you can stop overthinking. You can get and gather your psychological energy to actually heal your self-esteem, your happiness, your fears, your day-to-day life, so that you can actually start to feel indifference towards this person and not buried under the emotional roller coaster that you're currently on. Number 3, unhealthy relationship patterns. Now, so many clients when they come to me will say, do you know what? I'm starting to see a similarity between my breakups, how I cope with them, what the relationships look like, etc. And this is amazing awareness. But awareness doesn't change a thing. Awareness just gives you awareness. What you do with the awareness matters. So what we have to do with clients who have just hoped that learning from the last relationship or being able to recognize certain things is going to change anything is actually heal what caused them to keep being in these relationship patterns or with these types of people. Your unhealed wounds are going to be what is causing this to a point. And I never want clients to blame themselves for how they've been treated, because that's pointless. But what we do need to do is go, okay, what wounds are unhealed in there? What wounds are bleeding out? And what do those wounds need? What antibiotic does each wound need so that it can heal? And then we can actually put our best foot forward and look for what a healthy relationship with yourself is, first of all, but also then what that looks like with someone else in the future. Relationship patterns are not just going to change. You're not just going to wake up one day and go, do you know what? I'm just going to be capable of being in a healthy relationship. There needs to be some inner work, outward action that's done so that that can actually change. And so that you're not stuck in these types of breakups over and over and over again.